So finally I can give you guys something that I've been wanting to offer to you throughout the entire time that I've been in Milan, which is a match day vlog. Every time I get home and I start editing the video, I'm like, I don't like this, I don't like that, I'm gonna remove this, and it just turns out to be a little 4 takeaways video. Today, it's gonna be an actual match day vlog, and it's not gonna be any kind of match day vlog, guys. I'm literally on the freaking pitch. AC Milan put me on the field. So essentially, I'm gonna split today's match vlog into 3 chapters. So it's gonna be the pre-match chat, all the moments that I caught before the game kicked off, in-game moments while sitting in the stands and on the sidelines, and the 4 takeaways post-game. The chapters are gonna be below, so you guys wanna scroll to a specific part, make sure to do so, and let's kick things off. So here we got our starting lineup for today. The players are warming up right in front of me, but let's just take a look at the lineup. We got Mike in goal, Tomori alongside Pavlovic. Gabbia makes a return. Gabbia hadn't been there in the previous game. It was Kevin De Winter who had started in the Coppa Italia. He makes a return. The wing backs remain the same. It's going to be Alexis Salamakers alongside Estupinian. Those 2 guys are going to be important today. The midfield, you got Adrian Rabiot. Probably one of the game changers for the season, I would say. Starts alongside Fofana. Loftus-Cheek's not going to be there, at least not in the starting lineup, anchored by Luka Modric. The subplot to today's game is not just about Milan playing against Napoli. It's also about Luka Modric playing against Kevin De Bruyne. So Modric makes that return. And up top, we got Santi Jimenez alongside Christian Pulisic. Pulisic, a man who can't stop freaking scoring goals. And Santi Jimenez, who finally found himself, amongst goal scorers. I'll be honest, guys, this is truly surreal, because it's obviously Milan Fashion Week, right? So we're looking at a lot of different celebrities that are here. We're looking at Jared Leto standing right here. Then if you just walk a little bit further, it's like Disneyland right now. Right here you got the big man himself. But I'd say the biggest one is the return of this man right here. So pretty much today, I have access to the field, but also got my family sitting up top. So for that reason, when you have good seats, you don't just abandon your family. So I'm gonna make my way, along these iconic San Siro steps, all the way to the top tier. Probably watch the first half with them. And then during the second half, we'll find our way back onto the field. Oh, that's a good stop from Estupinian. That's an important stop. That was a great ball coming in from the right flank by Kevin De Bruyne, right on the 15-minute mark. And I'll be honest, I'm saying it while in a live moment, but I don't remember a lot of times. A lot of love to Theo Hernandez, but I don't remember a lot of times making those sliding interceptions, making those stops that needed to be made. There we go. Fofana on the flank. He goes. Oh God! Let's go! Go, Yusuf! Once again, over the crossbar for Yusuf. That was a great position. A 1v1 against the goalkeeper. But honestly, from that spot, you expect Yusuf to be able to finish that. Actually, you don't expect him to finish that. He usually puts it over the crossbar, and that's what happened there too. About 40 minutes and 30 seconds in. That moment, once again, it was Estupinian who held tight on his man. That's something that we had a problem with last season with Theo. He just wouldn't stay tight. He wouldn't have his eyes and ears open. We almost had an opportunity to go 1v1 against the goalkeeper, but so many times in the last season, you just wouldn't have, Theo staying tight on his man. He'd lose his marker. He'd lose his man, and suddenly here in that moment, around 40.5 minutes, Estupinian stayed tight, kept putting that pressure on him, and Maignan was able to get on the ball. That was a dangerous attacking opportunity for Napoli, but I feel like at this point in time in today's video, at least in the in-game moments, my biggest compliments have been going out to Purvis and Stupinian.
A few moments later.
There's no way. There's no way. So the first half went as perfectly as you'd want it to be. I mean, this is way better than we would have thought. The guys just need to hold on to the scoreline, and what a day it's gonna be. But we're gonna go down now onto the field. We're gonna go down these stairs a little bit easier. Those round stairs are a little bit longer. So I'm just gonna make my way down, and I'll see you guys. There's no way. There's no way. That's what the check was about. You know, you would have thought that that check was being done for, is that gonna be a penalty or not? You can't be serious. Don't tell me it's Stupinian. The entire game, the player that I've been talking about is Purvis. There's no way you're telling me he's sent off. I mean, this is going to be a tough one for me right now. 57.5 minutes is what I'm looking at. 57.5 minutes to be able to hold on to this 2-0 lead. Good thing it's a 2-0 lead and not a 1-0 lead. But holding on to a 2-0 lead at this point is not easy, guys. It's going to be a tough one for me not to hold now. A single goal lead with a player sent off. Going through the middle, finding their pathways. They're overloading the box. I gotta be honest, they got like 4, 5, 6 guys in the box right now, Napoli. 5 guys in the box. Oh, why did you go back? Oh, man! Let's go! What a stop, bro! There we go, Mike! What a stop! Udinese away from home, and now Napoli at home with a man down. This is different, guys. I'm not going to say too much. Obviously, you can't say too much, but this is what they needed. And let's be real. You got to say this. From open play, it's still a clean sheet. It's a penalty. They needed help. They needed help from the referee. Big win for the Rossoneri. Absolutely massive. So the only reason I'm walking up here is because we got like a up close and personal access to watching Christian and Alexis right here giving their post-match analysis. I mean, these two guys, the 2 goal scorers, honestly, they've been crucial for Milan. One can't stop scoring. One gets on the score sheet in a crucial match, scores the opening goal. So pretty much, you know, this is where you're gonna see the players essentially come down. You know, they're gonna take some pictures with some of the fans here right next to me. I can see Rafael Leao coming now, and I know he's gonna be taking a picture with a kid right next to me. So we're gonna obviously capture that. But here we have Rafa stepping in.
Bella maglia?
One of the most intense Milan games that I've been for, and it's just been one of those days that feels rewarding to everybody. We're gonna do our 4 takeaways. This right here is a stat from Sempre Milan that caught my eye. Possession of 63% for Napoli. 37 for Milan. Expected goals for Napoli, 2.85. That shows you the defensive job that this team did in spite of being a man down. They should have had almost 3 goals, and they ended up scoring 1. Milan expected goals 0.74, and they still score a couple of goals. Just look at the shots. Total shots from Napoli, 19. On target, 7. I mean, the fact is that they took care of Milan in every stat minus the scoreline. And it's a team effort that's resulted in this game turning out the way that it has. When you have 7 shots on target, who do you think, big time, is the players that get blocks? Is the goalkeeper that makes those stops? Who do you think when you have expected goals of 2.85 and the opposition only scores 1. It's the defensive job and the system that your coach has created that is allowing you to maintain almost a clean sheet still from open play. Milan has picked up yet another clean sheet, if you look at it that way, from open play. It's a penalty goal. And converting a team that didn't even have an expected goal surpassing 1 scores 2 goals. You know what that is? That is also a lot of individual brilliance. That is what Pulisic did, that touch, that drive, that pass across the face of goal to Alexis, and that touch from Fofana, Pavlovic's drive, Fofana's touch to put it in the path of Christian and score a goal. This is a team win, guys. And that's the best part about today's game, because that's exactly what this team needed, was to finally start feeling like a team. Who said it last season? Claudio Ranieri said it. He said AC Milan has the best 11 players in the entire league, but they don't have a very good team. And even Alessandro Costa, famous quote from last season, this team can lose to anybody, this team can win against anybody. But this time around, it's not that fragmented. It's way more consistent. They're picking up the wins against the weaker sides. They're picking up the wins against the stronger sides. And minus that match against Cremonese, it's been a solid showing from this team this season that has now put them in first place in the league. So the first takeaway, the first green box, I'm gonna actually give this one to, I'm gonna give it to Strahinja Pavlovic. That defensive work that Pavlovic put in and his intensity on the pitch is just, it's just one of those things. You cannot help but notice it. You know, defensively, he's solid. But even attack-wise, the amount that he offers to the team, you just can't help escape it. And I gotta put this out there. You know, you probably didn't catch this on TV, but after the players essentially walked up to the Curva suit and, you know, said their thanks and applauded the Curva making their comeback, Pavlovic was the only player that, you know, got away from the rest of the team and started walking, you know, beyond the boundary, took his shirt off, handed it off to somebody. You can truly sense that connection that he has with the fan base is unquestionably there. Another thing, you know, when I was standing essentially in the media line where the players really, you know, walk out and take some pictures with some of the fans, Pavlovic was the only one. And, you know, this is not a knock on any of the guys. Of course, everybody's, you know, in their own mindset and in their own place mentally. Pavlovic was the only guy that, from the first guy at the end of the row till the last fans at the end, media guys, player, fans, and, you know, the young fans, he high-fived and he just gave a fist bump to everybody. So those are the little things that we sometimes miss about these players that I am attempting to bring to you guys, which is that connection that the players, the club, everybody involved should have with the fan base. He was the one guy who actually dapped everybody up. I feel like his performance on the field was solid, and that connection with the fans also naturally keeps growing. And I think it was a worthy performance for a green box. So the second takeaway is going to be a green box that goes out to Luka Modric, the closest thing that I've seen to Andrea Pirlo in a long time. And, you know, we go way back, but the way that he orchestrates the midfield, we just haven't seen that, guys. And it's just not one game anymore. It's consistent. It's persistent. He always does it. He's taken this team to a place where they're right now sitting in first place. And a massive piece of that is Modric. Even today, the way that he orchestrated the midfield, the passing, the control, the tempo of the game that he was controlling. You know, anytime, you know, the first half, it was a tale of two halves, you gotta say. The first half, Milan was dominant, took that 2-0 lead. I'm gonna get a little bit away from the music that's playing there. But, you know, Milan took a 2-0 lead. But after that, you know, in the second half especially, you know, the first half you saw him sort of orchestrating the midfield, controlling that dynamic. And in the second half, whenever there was a counterattack, whenever there was a ball lost by Napoli, he's the one who sort of calmed the pace down a little bit. You know, having that 2-1 lead up, you probably didn't need to panic. You probably didn't need to create, you know, fast transitions trying to get that third goal. You just needed somebody to sort of patiently create something. I feel like he kind of did that in the second half, although Napoli really was dominant. But nothing really came out of their attacks. And I think A solid performance from Luka in the first half for sure, and for that I think he's worthy of a green box. And the first shout out from today's match, honestly, I'm gonna give the shout out to Yusuf Fofana, just for that little deft touch that he made to Christian Pulisic. I mean, that was so classy, so calm. Just softly dinks the ball right into Christian's path. You know, he makes no mistakes. I feel like that was a solid goal scored by the team as a team unit. But I think Fofana did his part there. I think he also did a fairly decent job defensively, you know, so I think Fofana had a decent performance. He's a player that a lot of the Milan fans, you know, kind of rip at a little bit. But yeah, you know what? The one part that we rip on him for is taking those strikes that go over the crossbar. And yeah, that was a chance that Milan got today. And I think it was when the scoreline was 2-1, if I remember right. And we just needed him to take that strike. And what happened? Right over the crossbar. It was a great opportunity for him. So, you know, not everything is positive, but I think it was still a decent performance, and I think he deserves a shout out at least. And the next shout out from today's match, this one's gonna go out to Alexis Salamakers. You know, I was sitting with my family, right? So my cousin asked me, she's like, Kush, do you have a favorite player on this team? And I was like, nah, I love all the guys. But then in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, I've talked about it with the Milan fans pretty frequently. It's Alexis Salamakers. An important goal, you know, a player that has worked so hard throughout the entirety of the season up until now, has been a crucial piece to this Milan team. An unexpected addition, you could say. You know, when the season was ending last season, right? At no point any of us were like, oh, you know what? Who's going to help this team big time next season? It's going to be Alexis, who's playing at Roma. None of us said that. And suddenly he makes a comeback. Massive shout out to Allegri for, you know, recognizing his ability and making sure that he stays with the team and doesn't get, you know, moved to another club. And it's paying dividends, you got to say. You know, Alexis has been an absolute workhorse. He works really hard. He has that intensity that the team needs. Okay, let me also scale back now a little bit, because after scoring that goal, you do feel like he was not playing his best football. So, you know, I said a lot of positive things about him, but I do mean them. You know, the fact that he did score the opening goal was important, but you do feel like, you know, after he scored that opening goal, there was just something about him that just wasn't what you needed it to be in a situation like today. And, you know, he was taken off by the coach. Obviously, he felt like he wasn't providing what he needed to. But I just feel like it's one of those things where every game from him is not going to be perfect. But I think what we're seeing from him has been helpful. And when you start scoring goals and you start helping your team literally win games, not just through your work rate, but also through the scoreline, I think it has to be recognized. So that's the reason why I'm not giving him a green box, but I'm definitely going to give Alexis a shout out. And the next takeaway is going to be a red box. And I don't think there are a lot of surprises here. Red box to the guy who gets a red card. And as I said in the, you know, in the in-match moments, right? Estupiñán, I felt like was playing actually pretty well during the first half. I felt like he was making a few defensive interceptions that were important to the team. He stopped 2 Napoli attacks that I saw from the sidelines, from the stands. And there was an appreciation for the way that he was playing. And then, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened there. He just lost his player, and he tried to force the issue a little bit. You know, I kind of get why he was given a red card. It makes sense. But he put his team in a big hole, you know. You play a decent game, but then you concede a penalty. I even talked about how, you know, Theo Hernandez didn't used to do this, and now we have Estupiñán doing this. I was really going at it with Estupiñán. I was really giving him, you know, his credit. But making that mistake, conceding that penalty, picking up the red card, deeply pushing your team into a hole, it's just not something that you're allowed to do in a massive game like this at the San Siro against Napoli, the title well, I would say arguably the title favorites, and a team that you're 2-0 up against. You maintain, you keep your eyes, you scan, you look around, you make sure you know where your marker is, where your player is that you're marking, and you handle that. In that situation, that shouldn't have turned into a goal for Napoli, I would say, an opportunity for Napoli, but it did, and for that reason, Estupiñán gets a red box. And the final takeaway from today's match, running out of superlatives for this guy, I gotta be honest. I mean, Christian, jeez, dude. Another goal, another assist, the kind of quality with which this guy is playing right now. He can do nothing wrong. He can do nothing wrong. The first goal that he scored, it was reminiscent of that, I think, was it a Gareth Bale goal for Real Madrid, where he was literally running out of bounds and just made his way back in. It felt like that kind of a touch, the beauty of that touch from Christian, to push the ball up, create that space, and pass it out to Alexis. Inch perfect pass across the face of goal. Picks up. I honestly, I'm not on my phone right now, but yet another goal. Let's just say it. I don't want to give a number, but yet another goal from Christian, and then yet another assist from Christian, and then a little bit later, opportunity created by Pavlovic, passes it out to Fofana. Fofana with a beautiful, soft, kill the pace of the ball. Really put it perfectly in the path of Pulisic, and no second thoughts. Just take a strike, put the ball in the back of the net. This guy is just an attacking powerhouse right now, and that's the beauty of Christian. He's not just he right now is perfectly reading the game. He knows when it's time to create a chance for a teammate, and he knows when it's a time to score the goal. There's no confusion for him, and that consistency and that perfection right now that Pulisic is showing is the reason why Milan is sitting in first place. It's as simple as that. Pulisic is the reason why, you could argue, one of the massive reasons why, alongside Allegri, Modric, Rabiot, maybe a few players, but Christian is right on top right now for me. So there you have it, Milan. You see, those are the 4 takeaways from today's match. That's the match vlog from today. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to continue this going. We're going to keep this going. So the next match is going to be against Juventus. That's going to be more from the studio. I'm not going to go all the way to Turin. But as the season progresses, more and more games are going to come from the stadium, from the San Siro right behind me, from the field. And a massive shout out to AC Milan for giving the access that they have provided, and a massive shout out to you guys, because if you guys weren't watching and you guys weren't supporting the channel, there's no way these guys would be helping out either. So massive win for the team, puts them all the way up to first place. And as always from my side, especially in wins that are this perfect, at least in terms of showing your defensive and your attacking quality when you're a man down, especially. Forza Milan. Grazie mille. Ciao tutti. The issue was money. A generational goalkeeper saw his nickname amongst Milan fans change from Gigio to Donnarumma. And to remind him of their dislike towards him, Milan fans at the San Siro showered the Italian with fake dollars in his first match back at their stadium.